This video is to make David Hurley, the purported Governor-General of Australia, aware of serious crimes being committed since 1973. They probably started before then, but let's just start at 1973. Recently on the GAP Party was a document. This document, it's 20 pages in relation to the royal style and title of the Crown and powers of the Governor-General. A proposal was made by the Prime Minister of Australia to the Queen to change a lot of things. And in fact he went away and changed them, whether the Queen said no or yes. In fact the Queen said no, but we'll come to that bit in a minute. For the Prime Minister to go to the Queen was an act of treason. The Parliament is exactly that. It's there to legislate, to pass legislation put together by the Governor-General in Council. You can find it in section 61 to 68 of the Constitution. So Whitlam going to the Queen was an act of treason against the people. He had no right to go there, nor does any Prime Minister, without first getting permission off the Governor-General. And David Hurley, isn't that you? Didn't you swear the lawful oath? You didn't have the correct letters patent for the office of Governor-General. You had one done by a clown from the Labor Party, like all the people from the political parties. They're nothing but a bunch of traitors. Now, as an officer of the Crown, or any other person in this country, it's a requirement of the Criminal Code. If I become aware of an indictable offence, I have to reveal it. And as such, I'm revealing it. There's another document. This is only 20 pages. There's another one which is listed on our Facebook page. And if you go into that, there's 237 pages of corruption, lies, treason and fraud to be put on the Australian people. The Royal Style and Title Act contained in this document is a real doozy. It says confidential. Why is it confidential from the people? Because you didn't put it to the people first, did you? Did any of you political parties? Do you know what it contains? Oh yeah, you do. That's why you're trying to block the letters from the Queen to the Governor-General when he sacked Gough Whitlam. Because Gough Whitlam was nothing but a filthy traitor. Bob Hawke, another filthy traitor. Another one, Paul Keating. And so on and so on. See? Royal Styles and Title Act. You can't have one. Go read your Constitution. Even you refer to the Statute of Westminster. That doesn't give you any permission. There's constitutional constraints. You want to take an oath to become a citizen of this country, you do it according to the oath in our Constitution. You want to become a judge, a magistrate, a police officer, or anybody who exercises authority in this country, you swear the oath contained in our Constitution. But you know that, don't you, David Hurley? That's why you put out this nice little story and swore that oath, knowing full well you did it under a false letters patent, and knowing full well that all the members of Parliament hadn't sworn the lawful oath. Do you have the right to do that? No. Are you doing your job at present? No, you're not. If you were, you would select 10 from the lower house, 8 from the upper house, and you'd tell ScoMo, pull your head in, idiot. You don't have any authority. You do not put legislation together, ScoMo, nor does any idiot, moron, clowns that are all the political parties. You don't do it. What part don't you understand? You use our Constitution to kick people out of Parliament. Why don't you use it to kick yourself out of Parliament? Because you can't. Too stupid to realise You're committing a fraud. You're committing treason. You're liars. You're thieves. And ScoMo, aren't you a nice little boy, giving away $500 million to an island? Why? We didn't create the pollution there. Between them and us is about 20 active volcanoes, pouring that much gunk into the air, carbon dioxide, sulfur gas, which doesn't go up into the atmosphere, all comes down and lobs in the valleys and gasses people. Or haven't you bothered to read an encyclopedia or study up on volcanoes? Probably not, because you can't read that much, can you? It seems, ScoMo, that you're good at lying to the people, and you're back at it again, stealing. The law in relation to tax, all money in excess of the federal government's debts must be returned to the states in relation to head of population. Our constitution states that. Why aren't you doing it, thief? You get that money away, that's $500 million you stole off the Australian people. Do those people need it? It's not your business. It's not your business. The Governor-General would have to ask permission off the people to pay any money to any other country. Read your constitution. You don't get to. Foreign affairs powers don't give you the right to do anything. It doesn't give you the right to go against the constitution. It says, return all excess money, return it. Stop stealing it and giving it away. Julie Bishop gave it away before. Julie Gillard gave it away. All he is give away our money. Why? Who told you could? Nobody. You're nothing but a bunch of thieves. Now, David Hurley, you do your job. Section 5 of our Constitution gives you the right to prorogue both houses of Parliament, dissolve it. Sucked a lot of them. Why? Misconduct. Stealing. Treachery to overturn our Constitution. Theft of our money. Theft of our property. Theft of our houses, our cars, our kids, our earning capacity, everything, and putting it all in 18 companies in America. On our Facebook page, as we said, there is a reference, and that is to 237 pages. Read them. It only takes about 2 and a bit hours. I did. It's easy to understand, and it shows the treachery, the lies and the treason not only committed by Whitlam and his clowns, but every single politician since then. Don't tell me you don't know. You do. You do know we have a banking system that doesn't belong here. I don't care if they work here, if they work inside our Constitution, not a problem. But what benefit is it of ours? Now, the Reserve Bank, it sets our interest rates. Why do we have interest rates on money that doesn't exist? You create money in your banks? Where is it? It doesn't exist. And we have to pay it back. And look at that, with interest. Who gets the interest? The banks. Not the Australian people. And let's get to another issue. All our public utilities. You're a parliament. You own nothing. You're not sovereign. You're not supreme. You can't put laws together. You can only put them through both houses of Parliament. Then they go to the Governor-General to sign off on behalf of the Crown that those laws comply with our Constitution. And you go back and read them all, not one do. Not one of them. So either David Hurley sacks the Parliament, the whole lot, because the Electoral Act is invalid, the Electoral Commission is invalid, everything the Parliaments are doing is blatant treason. You have overturned our Constitution. This document proves it. The other 237 documents, they prove it. And why is the High Court even looking into the issue of whether we, the people who are the supreme authority in this country, supreme over everything, including the Constitution, why can't we see those letters? You say he was lawfully appointed, I say he isn't. There's no way Gough Whitlam could have been lawfully appointed. He's nothing but a filthy traitor. He was nothing but a filthy traitor. And he remains a traitor. Not talking about his family. I'm sorry if they get anything back over what he did, but too bad. They got the benefits of him working. We didn't. Nor did anybody else. We got ripped off. We're still being ripped off. And I'm going a lot further in the next couple of days on more videos explaining what a pack of thieves you people are. But right now, David Hurley, you only have one job. ScoMo reckon you were a go-getter, a person of integrity. Well, let's see that integrity. Let's see you sack the Parliament because it's unlawful, and because the election was unlawful, and because the Electoral Act is invalid. It does not comply with our Constitution, Section 7 to 23. Read it. If you can understand anything, use that. Sack the Parliament. The Act doesn't comply, dismiss the Act. You can do it. Why do you think you can sit in our Parliament? Or you don't. The politicians do, without swearing the lawful oath. Section 42 of the Constitution says you can't. We have judges sitting in our courts. Section 72 of the Constitution says they have to be selected by the Parliament, by the Governor-General, not by the Parliament. The Parliament has no say in what judges we have. Not now, not ever. They can recommend to the Governor or suggest to the Governor-General, but they can't appoint them. But they are. You look at what Mr. Cullerton had to say when he put up what Brandis said in Parliament. We have a committee which makes the rules for the High Court. A committee that makes the rules? What happened to separation of powers? Who gave the Parliament the right to make rules that control our High Court? Do they? Yeah, they do. Because there's all sorts of rules which prevent us, the people, going straight into our High Court. We have registrars, whatever they are, apart from being liars, fraudsters, traitors, implementing rules that aren't law. A rule is just a suggestion that you want something done a particular way. I get it, you need papers filled out so they can be understood, but not rejected because some person who thinks they have a lot of knowledge as a judge rejects them because it could be vexatious, it could be something else. No, you can't do that. Our Constitution doesn't allow it. And why aren't you, Hurley, you and an executive council which you select? There's nothing to do with the Parliament. There's no such thing as a cabinet that puts laws together. That's nonsense. In fact, it's blatant treason under our Constitution. Go read it.
I urge you to make the oath of allegiance.
Thank you. I, David John Hurley, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
The first time, cameras were allowed inside the Governor-General's study.
I, Robert James Lee Hawke, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, so help me God.